Is self-help content wasting your time? Now, this is a question being posed by a self-help junkie. I have loved self-help books, articles, podcasts, videos. I love self-help content. I have been obsessed with this kind of content for years and years and years. I've wondered often if I'm wasting my time by consuming this sort of content, and I changed the way I do things now. So self-help content, it can be helpful. It can be helpful. The problem is that many of us will consume this type of content and not do anything with it. It just becomes an act of consuming content, and we get that dopamine hit from consuming this sort of content, and we feel like we're doing something with our life. We're making positive changes. We're being a go-getter. We're prioritizing our health and well-being and self-actualization and all these lovely things. But ultimately, it makes us feel like we're doing something when we're really doing nothing at all. Not if we don't apply it. And that's often what happens. Is there's so much information out there. There's this ocean of information, and it gets really overwhelming. And so it's so easy to fall into this shiny object syndrome, where we have a plan, we try something, we're sticking to something, but then we see something else, something new, a new book, a new idea, a new trend, and we think, oh, that's probably better. That's probably better, especially if our intention is to optimize our lives, our performance. We think there must be something better out there, and chances are there probably is, but nothing out there is going to help us if we don't take action. No optimal program will help us if we're not consistently taking action. And this self-help content, so much of it out there, it really just encourages this binging and getting dopamine hit after dopamine hit from just consuming it and not actually applying it. So I think a lot of it has to do with procrastination. We have this fear of failure, this fear of making mistakes, and we think we need all the right information first before we take action. And there's so much information out there that it's so easy to continue to procrastinate, to continue to gather more and more information, to read more and more of these books and articles and watch these videos and listen to these podcasts. And again, feel like we're doing something because we're gathering information. But if we're not doing something with that, it really just is procrastination. And I do think a lot of that has to do with fear. We don't want to look stupid. We don't want to make mistakes. We want to do it right the first time. But we're losing all of this opportunity to actually improve in real time by putting it off in the pursuit of more knowledge and more information. And it becomes this whole exhausting process of overthinking every little thing, every little piece of self-help content. It's like, well, maybe I need some more, I need something new, I need something better. And I engage in this often, this overthinking. And I've done this with so many different things, and I'll talk about that today. But I think it's really about self-improvement is a great thing. And it's a lovely goal, and I have it myself, and it's a lot of what I talk about on this channel and in this podcast. But ultimately, self-improvement is about waiting for our lives to have X, Y, or Z in it first, for X, Y, and Z to happen first before we live our lives. We're waiting for something better to happen, waiting for our lives to be better, waiting for us to be better before we live our life. And our life is so much better if we actually live it, and improvement happens along the way in the process of taking action and doing the things. When we're sitting and learning and reading and absorbing information, we're not living our life. We're not. And it's taken me a long time to realize that all of those self-help books sitting on my shelf, they're preventing me from living my life. Yeah, life is about living it, getting dirty, getting in there, making mistakes, looking stupid, fucking up. When we absorb all of this self-help content, we consume all of that. The problem with that is that we're wanting life to not be messy. We're wanting to get it right the first time. We're wanting to be new and improved now rather than doing all the work that's actually required to get there. And it is messy. You know, your martial arts journey is undoubtedly messy and complicated and challenging and difficult. And that's the way it is. That's the way life is it's supposed to be tough and messy and difficult. But I think all this self-help content, it seems like a way to skip all of that, to, you know, jump ahead of all of that and get to the good stuff. But the good stuff really comes from doing all the messy stuff first. I really believe that. So I've done this with so many different things. And you know, here's another thing, maybe this resonates with you. Feeling like you're not good enough and you need more information, that also can happen with education. And I've done this so much. A lot of the education that I've gotten has been valuable, and I'm totally appreciative of it. And it's really helped me to figure out what I'm interested in, what I'm about, what types of things I want to pursue in my life. But some of it has been procrastination, feeling like I'm not good enough and I need more and more courses or certifications or programs. I need to do more and more of that first before I can do the thing. So I have a BA in English. I mean, back then I wanted to pursue English, go on into English Lit. I realized that wasn't the right fit for me. And then I got into dietetics. I have a degree in dietetics. I wanted to be a dietitian. That wasn't the right fit for me either. I love nutrition. I love fitness. I love that stuff. Like that's my bag. But telling people what to eat, and most of the jobs are in hospital, and there's all these things around being a dietitian. Dietitians are great. Not knocking dietitians. It wasn't the right fit for me though. It wasn't what I wanted out of it. So it wasn't really procrastination. It was just, okay, this isn't the right fit. I thought it was. And then I went on and I've done other certifications, personal trainer cert, nutrition coaching, which was more about behavior change. So that was really helpful. But I've accumulated so many of these now, and I'm not really doing anything specific with those things other than I'm using all of that to help inform my content on here and my own life. A lot of it is just, I want to know more about the body and personal training and that kind of thing. I want to know more about nutrition. I want to know more about behavior change and how to effectively create that in my life and others. And so a lot of that's been really useful for that. And it actually has helped me. I've taken action on a lot of that, but it's feeling like I need more and more of that before I can effectively teach you, or, it's that the imposter syndrome, feeling like you need to be an expert to teach anything, right? And feeling like you need more and more certifications, degrees, that kind of thing to be able to do that, to be taken seriously. So that's another way that we do that. It's kind of self-help content, but it's, education can be a form of procrastination if we never do anything with that learning. And really, is it learning if we haven't taken action, if we haven't transformed our life in some way? Is it actually learning? I think that involves taking action and making messes and making mistakes, right? So that's another thing that I've done. But in some ways, I think it is really helpful if we're looking for something specific. If we have a very specific question and then we seek out a certain type of self-help information for that, a book, an article, a video, whatever it is. I've done this so many times with my video production. Right from the start, I knew nothing about making videos. I knew nothing about YouTube. I knew nothing about starting a blog, building a website, all the things that I then did. And I wanted to learn all of that. So I was looking for technical knowledge, and I would watch videos and read articles to learn all of the little things. I didn't have anyone help me. I didn't have anyone come along and come to my home and help me set it all up, or set up my YouTube channel, or set up my, build my website. I did it all on my own through watching all of these videos and reading articles and acquiring that information. And then I took action on those things. That's the important thing. I took action. So that's different. If you want help with something, you want to improve your sleep, you want to improve your diet, you want to get jacked, whatever it is, and you look to a piece of content to help you answer a specific question in that regard, it's absolutely helpful, because your goal there is to take action. But you're missing a piece of information. But then there's other types of content or other ways of consuming that content that can be not so helpful. For instance, if I'm watching YouTube videos on how to grow my YouTube channel, there's so much content out there, and a lot of it is kind of bullshit. A lot of it is people peddling courses that aren't really all that helpful. And really, it's about doing the work and doing the work consistently and learning along the way, rather than taking a shortcut and hearing someone else's advice in 5 minutes or less, or 8 minutes, so they get, the mid-roll ads. It can become this addictive process of watching more and more of those videos. And I've done that, watching more and more videos to help me be a better YouTuber, to help me be a better content creator. And none of it really helped me because I didn't take action from it, because there's something really addictive, and it's that dopamine rush you get from watching that type of content where you feel like you're doing something but you're doing nothing at all. And really, the technical videos, the technical questions I've had, and watching videos on that has been so much more helpful in helping me grow as a content creator, because it's really something specific, and then I take action on that thing and I do the work. Right? Rather than, what's the best way to do this? Well, there is no best way. I just have to do it and figure it out along the way, make all the mistakes and learn from them. Right? So another thing I love is watching YouTube videos on fitness stuff. And my favorite channel is Dr. Mike Renaissance Periodization. I love his shit. He's so awesome, he's so knowledgeable, and he's so fucking funny. So I binge those videos because he's just so entertaining. But I learn a lot from them. But sometimes it can become this addictive thing where I just love his videos and I get that dopamine hit from it, and it's super entertaining. And it's a fun distraction from whatever else I need to do in my day, but it's not really helping me if I'm not applying it. Especially when you get into the what's the best strength training or weightlifting or hypertrophy program for me? Well, there is no best thing. I have to just pick one and try it and do the work for a while and see if I get results, right? And then change it if needed. And so it can become this self-help spiral where, you're like, and I've done this, just watching video after video after video, not taking action, or taking action but constantly changing my program, not knowing what's the best way, and really just needing to pick one and stick with it and be consistent with it and ignore all the noise, right? And that can be really difficult when there is so much noise out there. So, I'm kind of derailing a little bit here, but that's what I'm doing now with my lifting routine is I've picked something and I've been 100% consistent with it for the first time in my life. For the last 3 months or so, I have not missed a workout. I'm doing 6 days a week. I came up with a program. It's working for me. I'm incorporating progressive overload. Every week I'm doing more. Every week I'm stronger. I can see the results I'm tracking. I'm sticking with it, but I do have days where I start overthinking, and maybe there's a better program. Maybe I should switch it to this. Maybe this would get me faster results. But really, I just need to stick with what I'm doing for a long enough time. And once I stop getting gains, then think of doing a different program, right? So it's that shiny object syndrome again. Maybe this is better. Maybe this is better. And that's the problem with consuming this type of content. It can be helpful, but once we pick something and stick with it, we should probably take a break from consuming that type of content, right? And just focus on what we need to do. And yes, I do acknowledge the irony in all this being a kind of a self-help, improve your performance channel and creator, but I really don't want to waste your time. I really don't. I don't want to just create garbage content or create content that's addictive, that you just want to keep watching one after another after another. And that is, advice on YouTube is create content that is bingeable so people click to the next video and the next and the next. And yeah, that could certainly help me do better on YouTube, but I don't want to do that to you because I'd rather I give you something that's helpful that you can then apply in your life immediately. I'll make a video that's a tutorial video. Here's how to improve mobility in your shoulders, something you can take action and do it now. You're not going to necessarily binge watch and go and watch 10 other mobility videos. You'll probably just do that one, hopefully, and try it out for a while and, see if it works for you. Right? Same as this. If I'm talking about something to help you, I want you to take a nugget out of that that's going to help you in your life, rather than just binge watch all my content or binge listen to my podcast, I don't mind that either if you want to, and thank you, I appreciate it. But I'd rather just help you. So yeah, there is the irony here of me being this type of creator, but I do see the problem with that too, and I do feel conflicted at times about that too, because I don't want to waste your time. And I know how much I personally have struggled with this trap of seeking out dopamine hit after dopamine hit, consuming this type of content. I have a stack of self-help books in my room. I'm addicted to, well, I don't know if it's really an addiction, but I love buying books on Amazon. I love it. I love buying shit on Amazon, period. For me, the dopamine hit comes from, it's that hunter instinct, right? And I've hunted in my life, so like I've shot deer and grouse, and I do have an instinct for it. And I do get that same satisfaction out of shopping online. Well, not the exact same as, hunting a deer, but there's that same rush, right? Of finding something, it's a good deal, adding it to my cart. After that, the dopamine rush kind of ends. And often then I battle with like, do I actually need this? What I usually do is I put something in my cart on Amazon, and then I'll sometimes wait, or I'll save it for later. Sometimes I'll delete it if I think, this was just about dopamine. This was just me looking for something to, give me that rush shopping online. I don't actually need the thing. But so many times I've bought books on Amazon. I love new books. I love brand new books. I'll buy a book and it'll go on my shelf when it shows up because, the dopamine rush is gone after I've added it to my cart. It shows up at the house, I get a little bit of a hit, like, oh, new book. I'll put it on my shelf for later because I have a stack of other books I need to read first. I have so many books that I haven't read because of this, because it's about dopamine, right? It's this addictive thing for me, being addicted to self-help content that I may not ever get around to reading. So I'm trying to stop doing that and see that, and when I add it to my cart now, I do more often than not save for later. After, a week or two, I'll go back in and delete it because I see that it's just about this chemical rush, right? It's not something that I actually need. It'll end up being more of a distraction. It'll end up being just another book on my shelf, gathering dust, just another thing taking up space in my life and stopping me from doing what I need to do, right? I need to do what I need to do, and the books can be helpful in that regard for sure, but not if I'm not reading them, and also not if I'm reading them but then not doing anything with that. And how many times have you done that, read a self-help book and not taken action at the end of it? But you feel this satisfaction like, oh, I read this great book, and you feel this motivation and inspiration, and oh, I'm going to change my life. And then some time passes and you're on to the next one, and then the next one. You have to take action with this stuff or it's totally not useful, right? And again, it is fun to consume this type of content, but really, I think it's so much better to seek out this type of stuff when we have a very specific question we need answered. Find what you need, apply it in your life, and then move on. So I think ultimately the question shouldn't be, what self-help content should I consume in this situation? Maybe it should be, do I need to? Or what very specific question am I asking? What very specific thing do I want out of that piece of content, right? And what I do now is when I do read a book or watch a video or listen to a podcast, what I try to do is pause after that and not immediately watch another one or read another one, not binge, but stop and say, okay, what have I learned from this? And what action can I take right now to improve myself? What action can I take right now to apply everything that I've just read or listened to or watched? So I encourage you to do that. If you do engage in this self-help content binging like I do, to pause every time you do that. Pause. If you watch a reel or a YouTube short, and these are super addictive, right? To scroll through one after another, stop after one. If you can, stop, put down your phone, walk away from the computer and say, okay, what did I just learn that was helpful? And how can I apply that in my life? Otherwise, it's just binging. You're just binging and you're wasting time. You're wasting time and you're wasting your life rather than picking out what you need, using it in your life and really living your life. So I do want to help you. I don't want to waste your time. So I hope this wasn't a waste of your time. I hope it was helpful. This is something I have struggled with for a very long time. And I do want to be open about that stuff, that I struggle with this stuff. I want to be open with you and vulnerable and share that and hopefully help you with that too. So thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you.